hello guys, and welcome to Motion RC. I'm your product specialist, Wesley, and today we are checking out the Ares 90. You've all been wondering about it? Let's get it out of the box and let's find out all about it now. Well, bam, look at it. There it is, guys, all out on the table. This is a beautiful model. As you get it out of the box, you're gonna see too, covered in detail, and you can see every square inch of this aircraft is painted. All right, now that we got it all out of the box, let's go over some of the specifications of the new Ares. It has one 9-gram plastic gear servo up here on the nose. It's actually gonna drive this gear door here. It's mounted right up here in the front. So the next servos we wanna talk about are our actual control surface servos. You can see right here these FSS 31093s. Those are 9-gram hybrid digital servos. And these are gonna be on all your flight control surfaces. And as you can see, it is also ball link cleviced and all very secure in there. All right, so the next spec we want to talk about are the two servos that actually drive your thrust vectoring nozzle. You have one down here on the bottom and one over here to the side. These are 17-gram Metal Gear digital servos that are actually going to run that tube back there. All right, so let's talk about power system options. Here on the bottom, you can see I can remove this panel right here, and that is going to unveil our 8S power system that I have in the current model here. And this is using the 4075 1350 kV in-runner motor. Now the 6S version of this airplane is gonna have the 3668 1960 kV in-runner motor if you decide to go with the 6S version. But for today, we have the 8S. Another really cool thing that is completely unique to this aircraft, right down here inside, you're gonna see it comes with 2 gyros right out of the box. You get 2 of the EGO1s, and these gyros, one is gonna run your tail as far as your thrust vectoring nozzle, and the other one is gonna run your control surfaces. Each one is tunable individually, and they have their own mode switches built in. Now, for your batteries in the Ares, you're gonna want some 5,000 milliamp to 6,000 milliamp 4S batteries. And I cannot recommend enough our Admiral line of Pro Packs. Here's how they come right out of the box. And you can see right there the 5,000 4Ss. These are gonna be the perfect battery for this aircraft if you wanna get some really good hovering and some great flight times. Now, you guys that want to fly 6S, the perfect battery is gonna be our 5,000 milliamp Admiral packs. The 50C is gonna work beautifully for your 6S aircraft. Now, another really cool feature that's made it into a lot of our newer jets, quick connect wings. You can see you have the servo connectors and the light boards built right into the aircraft, and the same style as the Zeus, where you can hit this button right here and release the wings or snap them in. It makes it so much easier to take these guys out to the field with you and get them put together when you get there. Well guys, we've talked enough about the specifications. Let's get this thing put together. All right, for step one of the process, let's move the fuselage off for just a second, and I want to show you an item that is going to make your life a whole lot easier if you get this to start with. Now this is our Ernst manufacturing stand. It's gonna make it to where you can take your aircraft, put it in this stand, and not damage it as you're assembling. And while we're talking about tools that are gonna make your life better, the Benchcraft 6-in-1 screwdriver, if you don't have one of these, you really should get one. You can put this entire airplane together with this one tool. If you're building a lot of free-wing airplanes, I highly recommend you grab this. So let's get on to step one. For step one, we're gonna easily do this part together. We're gonna take the nose cone, we're gonna slide it right in the front, just like that, and it magnets on. For step two, I'm gonna take the canopy right here. We're gonna snap that in. Now, of course, we're gonna have to take this off to do the programming stuff, but for now, when we turn the aircraft over to start working with the tail and other features, now it sets in the stand really well. So, speaking of that, let's move on back and let's get the tail put on. All right, so it's time to get the tail on, and you're gonna need the 2mm Allen key screws that come in the kit. What I like to do is take them, cut the bag open, And then if I've got my Ernst stand like I have right here, I can take my bottom tray, dump them in there, and I'm not gonna lose them. My other parts go right over there in the other side. All right, so for step 2 of the process, we're gonna actually get our horizontal stabilizer installed on the aircraft. You'll hear a lot of people call this the elevator. What we're gonna do is key that down on the back of the aircraft, being careful with it. We don't need to push very hard. This should just key and fit really gently into the aircraft. Once we do that, we're gonna take 4 of our 2mm machine threaded screws, and we're gonna sink those down in there using our Benchcraft screwdriver. Once that's complete, we're gonna unfurl our 2 wires that go to our elevator servos, and we're gonna plug them in on the multi-function control board. You're gonna see it is labeled on that control board for your signal wire, which is gonna either be yellow or white, depending on if it's a reversed or a standard servo. And then you're gonna see the other connections that we're about to make for the rudder and the light. Now, speaking of those, now that we have those in there, we need to make sure we put our elevator wires into the 2 channels on the outside before we get ready to put the rudder on. All right, now that you have the elevator installed on the aircraft, it's time to get our vertical stabilizer, also known as the rudder, installed onto the aircraft. Now, in order to do this, you're gonna hold the rudder off to the side of the aircraft, and you're gonna unfurl the 2 wires that are inside of it. You'll see on your multi-function control board that it is labeled negative, positive, and then signal. Brown is gonna be your negative, yellow is your signal wire on this situation. We're gonna plug that into the control board. Then, at the back section of the control board, you're gonna see the 2-wire post. It's labeled the same way, so negative is gonna be your black wire, and red is your positive wire, so make sure you plug that in the right direction. Once you have both of those wire connections made on the multi-function control board, it's time to slide the rudder down from the top, making sure your elevator wires are in the channels of the elevator channel. If it's not, the rudder's not gonna go down and seat correctly. If you have it in the right spot, the rudder will go down and seat all the way down. Then it's as simple as taking the 4 machine threaded screws and going on ahead and putting those in using your Benchcraft screwdriver once again. Step 3, it's time to get our wing spars put together so we can get them in the airplane. All right, at this time, we had to get the wing spars put together for the aircraft. It's pretty simple and straightforward. What you need to do is take the little conical cones, and we're gonna glue those in to the end of the wing spars. The black ones go in the larger spar, the white ones go in the smaller spar. And the way I did this is I took a little bit of our Freewing contact cement that comes in most Freewing kits, although it does not come with the Ares, and I took that and glued the end of those in to the wing spar. All these do is help you align it when you put the wings on. And speaking of putting the wings on, the next step in the process was to slide the 2 carbon spars through the fuselage of the aircraft. Once we had that completed, it was simple as lining up the wings, sliding them on. Once they're all the way seated, you push the 4 buttons on the top to actually click them in. And just like that, we have this aircraft put together. Well, pilots, that gets the Ares all put together. I will do a quick honorable mention. There's also this little set of weights that come in the kit. What you need to do with these is if you want more of a positive center of gravity towards the front of the aircraft, there are 2 holes built into the back of the nose cone that you can pop these into. And the other parts that are in the kit that we didn't use today in the assembly were these 2 wires right here. Now, if you're interested in it, we're gonna have a setup video just on setting up this aircraft. It's pretty complicated, so we're gonna be doing that on the TX16 from Radio Master. Be looking out for that video. It should be coming out soon, and if it's not already, it'll be on the product page if you wanna watch it right now. Now, as always, if you want to see more about the aircraft, definitely check out the in-depth overview flight videos. They're all up there on the product page right now when you're seeing this, so go check it out at motionrc.com. And if you want an Ares, as always, go to motionrc.com, get you one right now. It comes in red or yellow, and until the next time, whether it's air, land, or sea, you can get it right here at motionrc.com. It's been my pleasure to do this for you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.